All right, gang, Steve Austin here. Thanks for checking out this week's Unleashed show. I'm about to open up a serious can of audio whoop-ass just for you. But before I do that, let me tell you about a sponsor and a product that's turned me into a damn professional griller. It's called the Man Grate, and it's a 100% cast iron grill grate that sits right on top of your existing grill grate. And before you start with the, well, why do I need to put another grill grate on top of my existing barbecue grate? You need to do it because the patented design of the Man Grate ensures you're going to get juicy, tender meat with no flare-ups and perfect sear marks every single time. You get steakhouse restaurant quality right at your own home. So no matter what you're grilling, and I grill lots of stuff, deer, sausage, burgers, steaks, you know the routine. With the Man Grate, it tastes great every time. And if you go to mangrate.com right now, you can take advantage of this special offer. Because you listen to Steve Austin Unleashed, you can get the Man Grate for just $19.99. And also for a limited time, for every 3 Man Grates you order, you get a 4th Man Grate for free. Just go to mangrate.com and enter my coupon code Steve at checkout. That's all you need to do to get the Man Grate for just $19.99. Just enter Steve at checkout. Now, this is a great gift for anyone who likes to barbecue. And hey, it's like giving a gift to yourself too, because you'll get to eat all that great grilling. Now, I dig that. So go to mangrate.com and use my promo code Steve and get a Man Grate for just $19.99. That's mangrate.com and use the promo code Steve.
The following program is a podcast1.com production.
He started in a small town in Texas. Worked his ass off to become one of the most famous wrestlers of all time.
We're going to take care of business tonight, and that's the bottom line.
And now he's dominating the world of on-demand audio. And he's doing it for the working man.
This is a damn good outlet for me to spew the bullshit off my brain.
Yeah! This is the Steve Austin Show. Unleashed.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Steve Austin Show. I'm coming to you from the Broken Skull Ranch. As we record this podcast, it's Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m., sitting here across the table with @TedFowler361 on Twitter. I'm drinking an IPA Lost Gold out of the Real Ale Brewing Company in Blanco, Texas. Teddy Fowler just worked him up a cocktail over. Teddy, what you drinking tonight?
Jack and Coke. It's actually my second one.
You son of a bitch. I thought we was on a health kick over here. I got to go into San Antonio tomorrow and get my routine annual physical. So I was just going to have a couple because I got to turn this podcast in. Normally I would do this podcast tomorrow and turn it in, but I got to crank it out tonight because I'll be in San Antonio all day long. So I figured, hey, man, come over here, drink a beer or two, go off the rails a little bit and have a little bit of fun, and you done beat me to the punch. You already started drinking the cocktails. I thought, Teddy, we had a handshake the other day. Remember? And we was lifting our weights. I said, dude, I'm drying out. I'll drink a glass of wine every night, and that's what I've been doing. So you didn't say that you were quitting. Correct. I was saying that I was quitting. So tell me about your little process over here.
Yeah, I have yet to be cast in any movie, so I'm drinking away.
See, I want to know, why don't they cast me in a movie as a fat guy? Because, man, see, I could be the fat guy with some jacks. Now, that's like the dream part. Just wear a shirt with the cut-off sleeves and just be the dude that's kind of like in shape, but he's kind of fat.
I'm looking to be the coach on the Bad News Bears 11.
Dude, that's like a dream spot. God damn. That ain't a bad gig at all. You know what? You and me should do a screenplay. We should write this motherfucker up. We got about 1 month left out here at the Broken Skull Ranch during deer season. Well, we ain't got no time to write no script. Hell, between mowing and fixing fence, me doing my podcast, doing other shit I got to do, and you going back and forth and doing all your shit, we ain't got time to write no screenplay. We'll hire somebody to write this thing, Teddy. It'll be a blockbuster. It'll be a movie of epic proportions. It will be a movie that people can sink their teeth into, their heart, their soul. It will pull their heartstrings. They'll laugh. They'll cry. They'll get angry. They'll be entertained, Teddy. Are you in?
Yeah,
I'm calling bullshit. That's another thing we're never going to do. Just cast me as the fat motherfucker in the back of the movie. Just let me see. Every movie has a call sheet, and your number on that call sheet dictates your, importance in that movie. Number 1's the head honcho. Number 2, 3, 4 down. Like in the Expendables, I think I was number 32. So, like in this, I don't give a shit. I could be like number 75. Just get my gig, get my SAG insurance. I'm good to go. Is that asking too little?
Now I'm working for a paycheck myself.
Teddy is about to launch into a story. I was over in a deer stand on the north end yesterday, and I put my hand on the rail getting out of that deer stand. I was stalking around trying to get a picture of a big deer I've been seeing. And I put my hand right on a yellow jacket, and that son of a bitch stung the shit out of my damn palm of my hand. You just came back and said you got lit up by a yellow jacket. Tell me your story. What happened? Are you okay? Do I need to call 911? Will you have an allergic reaction? If you do have an allergic reaction, will your throat swell shut? If your throat swells shut, what should I do?
Just pour more Jack Daniels down it. Yeah, no, I think the Jack and Coke's
will fix it.
Yeah, it's going to keep my airways open. No, I eased into Titanic. Got there just before the feeder went off, went to open up the main window in front.
Stop. Titanic is a deer stand on the property, so people know what Titanic is. Continue. Well, a lot of people don't know.
You're
Like
right,
you
you're
hear
right,
Titanic.
right.
We know all these things because we live them every day.
All right,
Okay.
it's a deer stand.
Now,
and
Titanic back in the day was a big ship, hit an iceberg, went down, people drowned. Sad story. But I tell you what, when Leo DiCaprio and that lady made it, man, that was a badass movie. Anyway, on with the Yellow Jacket sting. Man, this is important, Teddy. I can see the pain in your eyes. Please continue, my dear compadre.
Actually, it's a pain in my hand. Yeah, no, so I sat down, facing the feeder, went to open up the window, and it slides.
This ain't the goddamn Yellow Jacket that bit you on your nut, is it? Okay. Okay, continue the story. Because this is the unleashed version. That would fly. But I would hate to hear that your testicle got stung by a yellow jacket. No. So one time the swelling was good.
I try to keep my pants on at a deer blind. I mean, it's exciting to go deer hunting. It
just ain't that exciting.
It ain't that exciting.
You'd have a pervert problem if it was that exciting to you.
Dude, can you imagine that? Sitting in a deer blind, stark-ass naked.
Dude, line out of Pulp Fiction, break out the gimp. The gimp's sleeping. Wake him up. Tell the goddamn Yellow Jacket story.
All right, so anyway, I go to slide the window open, and it goes up. There's a clasp on the right side, the left side, so both hands pinch it together, raise that window up. And in the track where the window rests is where all of the Yellow Jackets, for some reason, they kind of go head first into that, trying to get into the blind, into the warmth of the blind, from the outside to the inside. They can't get in there. As soon as that window slides all the way up, we've got bedlam because there's about 50 Yellow Jackets sitting there in a half-assed dormant state. Some of them are flying, some of them are crawling. They're going ape shit.
Hang on. When your phone goes off in a podcast, you automatically owe the person that you're working with a case of beer. Teddy, I owe you a case of beer. Let me answer this call.
I was going to say, if that's Obama, tell him to
Hello.
send my check.
Phone call taken, business taken care of, opportunity on the table. Well, as my good buddy DDP would say, positive bullshit level 3. Teddy, Yellow Jackets in the tracks, deer standing, 50 of them. They're kind of in a zombie state.
They're in a zombie state. Yeah, some of them are flying in, some of them are dropping out onto the ground, both inside and outside of the blind.
So it's because of the cold weather. These motherfuckers been there smoking LSD.
No,
You
dude.
smoke LSD or you take it?
No, never have. I think
No, I'm just asking,
it.
how do you use it?
Yeah, I was going to say me. I never have. No,
Dude, you fucked up today. You on LSD?
no, I think you take that. Wasn't that what they took on the stamp or the sugar cube?
Boy,
Don't
get me wrong, boy. I took some pain pills back in the day and I snorted a couple rails. But LSD, acid, all that horse shit wasn't my cup of tea. Fuck LSD. Back to the Yellow Jackets, who are straight edge.
Yeah, no, I never did any LSD or acid myself. Anyway, they got him. Yellow Jackets are in there. Of course, I've got a doe, a yearling, and a fawn out at the feeder. I sit down. I think, man, I can close out a few of these without getting too crazy.
You talk about close out. You talk about killing some yellow jackets.
Killing them. Yeah. I'm killing stuff.
You're trying to be in stealth mode. You got a doe and 2 babies at the feeder. So you're trying to stealthily kill yellow jackets.
Yep.
And you don't have a fly swatter. And
No,
you don't have a pair of leather gloves.
Don't have my gloves either. Yeah, so I'm
you want a handicap match. 50 against 1.
Dude, I'm swinging a beanie. Yeah, and I got my knife out. And then now, let me explain. The idea.
Yellow jackets.
No. The idea is I'll put them to the ground with a beanie. I'll swat them with a beanie, and then use the flat edge of the blade to squish them. There you go. Problem solved. I swung on one, and I'm not exactly sure what happened. It's kind of a blur. But those guys don't take a long time to sting you when they get on you.
It's always bad. Some turns to a blur. Been a couple of blurs in my life. Have been real problems. It was a blur.
Another hour and a half. This whole thing will be a blur.
So you don't know what happened?
No, that
he
son of a bitch.
Composure.
I don't even think he
He
lost
had a chin.
I don't even
this
think he
yellow
lost
jacket
his
had a
composure.
chin.
No, I think I swung and I missed. I did a roundhouse and I
Ghost
missed.
punch, even better. Ali Liston.
Yep.
He worked it, and then he stung the shit out of you. Where'd he get you?
Middle finger, shooting hand. Thank God it was my trigger finger. Yeah. But, yeah, he got me right on the tip of the middle finger. That cocksucker. Yeah. And
Dude, for about 5 minutes, when that something first hits you, it's like a little bit of lightning bolt piercing into your skin. I put my damn hand on that summit yesterday, and like you said, it don't take them long to do their business. And, man, as soon as that happened, mine was at dusky dark. So I get my trusty iPhone 6 out and use the flashlight gimmick on it because I don't carry a proper flashlight because I'm stupid. And I'm trying to scan the deer stand, and I don't give a shit if the deer that I'm trying to photograph are gone. It's dark anyway. I just want to make sure that I didn't put my hand on a brown recluse or a black widow spider, and it was indeed a yellow jacket. And I just figured it's a small-ass deer stand. It's all walled in. He's got to be right there so I can squash the shit out of him because I got to exact my revenge. Teddy, when the motherfucking yellow jacket stings my ass, I got to exact revenge. Lo and behold, I couldn't find the motherfucker. He got away. He stung a global icon and a national treasure and lived to tell about it. He's going to go brag to his friends. They're going to gang up on us. Teddy, did you kill the yellow jacket that penetrated your skin?
Man, I don't think I did it because I think when he stung me, I shook my hand and I was like, God damn it. And there went the deer. So that took care of that deal.
Jesse, Teddy, this does not set a good precedent here at the BSR. It's Yellow Jackets 2, Teddy and Steve 0.
Oh, I got a bunch of his family members, and I got a picture on my iPhone.
Oh, by God, that Yellow Jacket had a family, damn it.
Hello, not anymore. That Christmas shopping just got real easy for him.
Well, see, man, I don't know, 2-0, but you got some family members. I guess we got that going for us. Anyway, God damn it. Hey, but you're okay now. The summit's is good to go. To me, it's about a 5-10 minute deal, and then you're back.
Yeah, it's like a cigarette burn. It burns for 5 or 10 minutes, and then it's out.
Dude, I say a cigarette burn is a little bit more severe than a yellow jacket.
Wow. All right.
Whole different fucking ballgame. Yeah, whole different ballgame.
Yeah,
I see what you're trying to do, though.
Yeah, it hurts a little bit.
Well, hell, Teddy, that's a great story. We're sitting there shooting the breeze at the Broken Skull Ranch. Redneck Island is playing on CMT right now, Channel 327 on DirecTV, every Thursday night on Thirsty Thursdays on CMT. Check out Redneck Island. And also got some T-shirts for sale over there at BrokenSkullRanch.com. Just hit the merch button. I got some new signed hats with the Broken Skull Ranch skull on there. So if you're looking for some swag, go to BrokenSkullRanch.com, hit the merch button. Bam, there you are at 1 Hour Tees. Hey, I told you guys I was going to answer some questions about my conversation with Vince McMahon that you guys sent in the questions, SteveAustinShow.com. I also said I'm sitting there talking to Ted Fowler, send in some questions to talk to me and Teddy. So we're going to do that right after I tell you guys about the company that makes the greatest supplements on planet Earth. That company is On It. On It makes Alpha Brand, and y'all know that I take it every single morning. It helps keep me razor sharp and focused, and it helps my memory. It's why I'm able to deliver 2 badass podcasts every single week. And y'all also know I'm a big fan of On It Shroom Tech Sport. Take it before every workout. I'm really working to get into shape to drop a few LBs for a project I got coming up, and I can't give too many details about that yet, but I can tell you why I use Shroom Tech Sport. It helps me go longer, recover faster. It's a great, all-natural way to fight fatigue. And right now, if you go to onnit.com/Steve, you can get 10% off your order. And check this out. Onnit has a money-back guarantee. If something doesn't work the way it's supposed to, Onnit will give you your money back, no questions asked. So go ahead. Try Alpha Brain. Try Shroom Tech Sport. Or give Onnit T Plus a try. You ain't got nothing to lose. T Plus is designed to increase strength and power. It improves athletic performance and helps with muscle recovery. It's been clinically proven to work. You can read all about that at onnit.com. T Plus has also been certified drug-free by the Banned Substances Control Group, and that means it's safe to use if you're competing. So go to onnit.com/Steve to get your 10% discount off all your supplements. What are you waiting for? Go now. That's onnit.com. ONNIT.com/Steve to get 10% off your order.
Let's go. The all-new Rich Eisen Show.
What is it?
What is it? Who better to tell you than Rich Eisen?
This is what we're going to have on the show. Just talking football along with music and movies and television shows. Interesting things of our pop culture landscape, of which the NFL is part.
And that's all you really want at the end of the day.
The Rich Eisen Show.
Hold on a minute. This is probably my therapist.
Go to podcast1/Rich Eisen to hear every show.
All right, folks, here we go. Sitting across the table with Ted Fowler, 361 on Twitter, myself, Steve Austin, BSR. You know, a couple of weeks ago, as we talked, Ted and I flew down to Tulsa, Oklahoma on the WWE jet, kicked it back, talked to Vince McMahon on the podcast, on the WWE Network, live and in living color, all across the globe. Well, parts of the globe to get the WWE Network, and it's coming soon to the United Kingdom, so you guys keep your pants on. It's going to get there ASAP. Teddy, you had a good time. You saw the behind-the-curtain deal of what goes on at a Monday Night Raw, flew on a big-ass, badass jet, and I told the people, they sent some questions in to you and me. We're about to lay down a podcast and some questions about the conversation with Vince McMahon. So, anyway, you got stung by a yellow jacket. You got a fresh Jack and Coke. Everything good with you now?
I'm ready to roll, yes, sir.
You about to go to sleep?
No.
Okay.
No.
Amp up on me now.
Not unless we put the UFC back on.
You know, normally, oh, Teddy tried to stay up during that pay-per-view. It was just too late for him. You know, I always get up every single morning, Teddy, just like you do, and you take your Alpha Brain with your coffee.
Correct.
Helps me wake up.
Correct.
Shit, I took an Alpha Brain and started drinking beer. I think it works just as good with beer as it does with caffeine. I ain't no scientist, but I'm just telling you, due to the research that I've done on my body with Alpha Brain, beer, and caffeine, brother, what you talking about?
I go straight booze. Skip the Alpha Brain after sundown.
Well, see, that's always the thing. You know, if I ain't got to use my brain, you know, I mean, if I'm just kind of in chill mode or if I'm not really doing nothing, why don't take an Alpha Brain? If I'm trying to wake up and get out of bed and be a human being or do one of these podcasts, yes, sir.
I was going to say, if that's what you're working off of, I'd have never broke the seal off of the first bottle I had. If you ain't got to use your brain, don't use them, yeah.
Segue. Alpha Brain, man. Alpha Brain.
No, dude, that stuff's cool. That stuff is very cool. Take it every morning. Real deal.
Hey, man, I told you, Teddy, we was going to answer a few questions that people sent in about the podcast I did with Vince, but also people just call in, send some random questions. I was just going to pick one out, and I just got flooded with a bunch of them. Here's one right off top. It says, hey, Mr. Austin, huge fan of yours since you whooped ass back in the Attitude Era. That was back in the Cro-Magnon era, right? So, anyway, good times. My question to you is, what kind of equipment do you use for podcasting? The sound is clear as hell, and thanks for sharing photos of your dogs, Hershey and Moolah. And don't forget about Shona. Oh, hell yeah, and that's from Gonzalo of Livingston, California. Hey, man, we're sitting here on a kitchen table. We got two Shure SM58 microphones, and I got a Zoom H4n recorder. And I don't know what I have my wave setting on. I think it's at 44. But, man, that's all we got over here. And right now we're in a kitchen with a hard floor, so you might be getting a little bit of bounce. But, dude, sometimes I go down to the studio in Culver City or Beverly Hills with Stacy, and we open up a can of audio whoop-ass there with all the scientific equipment. But most of the time, man, you know, it's just me doing my thing with Teddy or whoever it is with the Shure SM58s and the Zoom H4n. And sometimes when I'm talking to someone on the phone, all that is a Skype with a pair of goddamn headphones that you get with the iPhone. So, anyway, that's what I'm using, brother, and I appreciate your question. And listen to the damn show. Hey, Steve, longtime fan, just wanted to ask what your thoughts were on CM Punk wearing your shirt during the infamous pipe bomb promo. Man, I just pulled that one out of my ass. Midland, Texas, San Diego. Hey, man, I thought it was badass. The dude was flying some Stone Cold colors, dropped a hellacious promo, and Punk has always been a strong-ass promo anyway. The fact that he wore one of my shirts when he did it, it was pretty damn cool. Here's a question, Teddy. You think JR will go back to WWE? You got an answer for that?
You know what? Yeah, I think he will. I mean, after listening to Vince, I don't think he closes anyone out 100% because, at the end of the day, like he said, it's business. And I think, even if he had a case of the red ass with JR, I think at the end of the day, if it's good for business, they would strike up again.
Well, we'll see what happens. Yeah. I mean, Jim patched up the relationship between me and Vince. I never thought anybody was going to patch up. I didn't think anybody was ever going to patch up the relationship when I left this company, but it was Jim Ross who set the hook and got me back on board. So we'll see what happens with those two guys. Here's a question, Teddy, and this comes from old Mike. Any fishing on the BSR, or is it strictly hunting? Do you guys ever do fishing trips together? Hey, man. We have 5 tanks out here, or 5 ponds. In Texas, we call them tanks. So anyway, we've been in a drought for a long-ass time. All of the tanks on the entire property dried up during the drought. And as the water levels were going down, the Nueces River dried out too, and all the fish that were in the ponds died. Now, only 2 of the ponds were really stocked, and probably 3 of them had fish. But nonetheless, a couple of alligator gars and stuff like that, all the fish that were in there died. And since we've gotten some rain, and since we got all of the tanks on the ranch are filled up, we never have gone back and restocked them with any fish. So right now, ain't no fishing out here. Do we love to fish? Yeah, we dig it. Now, I'm one of those guys, I'm ADD. I don't like to fish just because I like throwing a hook in the water. I like catching fish. So if they ain't biting, I ain't having fun. Now, conversely, on hunting, sometimes, Teddy, you sit in a damn deer stand and you don't see fuck all day. But at the end of the day, man, it just is what it is. I guess the same could be said for someone fishing who really enjoys it that much. I ain't got to shoot a deer to have a good time, but I got to catch a fish to have a good time.
No, you're absolutely right. And that's one of the benefits of living on the coast. You don't just throw cork out there and let it sit. There's always action. You're wade fishing, you're cruising around on the boat, hitting the jetties or the rigs. So there's constant action. Right. You're always catching something, but you're absolutely
Well, you're on the
right.
prowl. I mean, you're stalking.
Yeah.
You're on water, but you're going after the fish. Out here in South Texas, this is the brush country. You're waiting for the deer to come to you. So it's a whole different, I don't know if I'm using stalk correctly on the fishing, but it's a whole different mindset because you're waiting on a deer. You're chasing a fish.
You're waiting on a specific deer.
Right.
You got to admit, if we wanted to just shoot something, it'd be a done deal.
Right.
But, that's
we're looking for
that's
the
not
big
what
deer.
that's not what we're about.
And we're trying to take care of our cull bucks as well from the management standpoint. So, yeah, you are. We're waiting on a big buck, but we're also waiting on the bucks we need to take out. And sometimes, man, they just don't show up.
Well, that's the difference between fishing and hunting. We can see all of the stuff out there in the field. When you're fishing, you can't see anything.
Right.
So you hunk your lure out there and you hope for the best. You get a big one, a small one, it doesn't matter. It's a lot different when you're looking out in the field over deer.
Dude, I never looked at it that way. Man, check out the
help.
big brain on Ted Fowler. This motherfucker done took an alpha brain with Jack and Coke. Teddy, I'm telling you, man.
We may be on something.
We may be on to something. We got gold here at, where we at? I can't give out the location of the ranch. We're at the Broken Skull Ranch. This ain't 316 Gimme Street in Los Angeles, California. Hey, man, here's what Mike also goes on to say on Vince's interview, I don't know how much of him is BS or true, but I found myself listening thinking this guy is locked in as a businessman. He seems like one of those rare people where you just want the opportunity to pick his brain for advice. Do you admire his business know-how and not just wrestling business? No clue he grew up in a trailer. Hey, man, I always tell people I learned more working for Vince McMahon in, 8, 9, 10 years I worked for him than I did in, 5 years of college. Man, just about life, business, everything. The dude's a super sharp cat. Ted, you met him for the first time. Hey, man, that dude's you get your smart marks, and, I think, just change the subject a little bit, I think the WWE should be a little bit more wrestling-oriented right now. Vince says he's in tune and listens to the WWE universe. So I want more wrestling, but Vince, as a human being, as a entrepreneur, as a businessman, yeah, he's one of those kind of guys you'd like to get under the learning tree and ask him a shit pile of questions.
Dude, I think Vince is looking at a bigger market. I mean, not to offend, but he's looking at a bigger market than appeasing just you, and appeasing just me. There's the hardcore wrestling fans that want to see, more wrestling. But you know what? There's also the people that are, signing on for the network. They're buying the shirts. They're buying the DVDs, stuff like that. So he's a businessman, and he's sharp as a tack.
Well, I mean, to your point, he does see a bigger picture.
Yeah.
But to me, that picture comes full circle back to wrestling in a 20 by 20 squared circle. And yeah, wrestling has to be entertaining. It goes under the entertainment. It goes under the sports entertainment umbrella. To meet all the people, all the demographics out there, I said several weeks ago that it was kind of like a three-ring circus, and I basically got taken out of context by saying I was calling it a three-ring circus. I simply meant, to your point, they are trying to appeal to just a huge demographic. Me, because I am laser-focused, I would just tend to focus on the wrestling crowd, because then, in and of itself, wrestling is the name of the game. It says that on the marquee, and that takes care of itself.
You know what? It's not a three-ring circus like you're making, a joke
about
it. No, you've got a number of different groups that are viewing the same object, and how do you appease each and every group? You know what I mean? He's trying to appease the hardcore wrestlers. He's trying to.
But let me cut you off, Teddy, because you go way back. You've been watching wrestling since you're younger than me. You're 48. How long have you been watching pro wrestling?
Goddamn, 20, 25 years.
Okay, now we're here to talk about the product, talk about the conversation with Vince. Now you and me are talking about the business. Is this the best stuff you've ever seen going on right now?
No.
Not to make a disparaging mark about anybody on the current roster, just as far as booking, angles, and presentation, it's not as serious as it was in the Attitude Era when I was around, and back to the mid-'80s and some of that NWA territory stuff, or in the Bill Watts stuff, the Mid-South and Power Pro. That was some of the best shit of all time. And when I get on my cardio machine and when I try to do cardio, that's what I always revert back to. So how would you compare today's product, not the guys, because there's some great talent out there with the eras that I just mentioned?
I think today's product is driven more by merchandising. You know what I mean? You got to get some Jack in there, not Jack and Coke. You got to get money in there, to keep those wheels greased. Back in the day, you know what I mean? In the beginning,
right?
You're watching King Kong Bundy bite on the turnbuckle and do that.
George Animal Steel bite the turnbuckle.
Yeah. George Animal Steel. My bad. They weren't selling shirts. They weren't hawking DVDs. They weren't, doing the CDs. It wasn't the big marketing animal that it is now. So back then it was more entertainment and a lot less merchandising.
So when Vince was talking to me in Tulsa, and he says, "Oh, God, Steve, since you've gone, the business has evolved." Has it evolved? As the business model just getting bigger and trying to attract a larger universe of eyeballs. With so much shit on television, I guess you want to try to diversify your product to appease all the people like you're saying.
Correct.
But, hey, man,
Correct.
To me it all comes back to pure pro wrestling. Because, Teddy, if someone's channel surfing and they're not a wrestling fan and they come on the product that is sports entertainment, I don't see that they would become enamored with it, because it's essentially pro wrestling that has been watered down and salt and peppered up with colors, gloss, and
theatrics. Theatrics, yeah.
Again, don't mean this in a disparaging tone. I'm a lifelong wrestling fan and former wrestler, so go ahead.
Oh, dude, I buy into it. I mean, I love it, and I continue to watch it. It's not the product that it used to be, and everything evolves, and I get it, man. It's
okay. Then where does it evolve to next? Because the wrestling business has always been cyclical in nature. It goes around, has low spots, high spots, down, comes back up. What's it going to take for this thing to go back up?
Man,
Is it disappearing?
If they don't get more towards
wrestling,
well, that hardcore violence. You know what I mean? Get back to.
Dude, man, people want to believe. They just want to believe, and we're going to jump off. We're going to go to the next question. So I just, it all goes back full circle, real deal wrestling. I mean, back in the days, I was sitting there talking to Vince, and we briefly got to talk about the chemistry between myself and him. Vince McMahon was one of my favorite opponents of all time. Back with Bret the Hitman Hart. Man, the words that I said to him and anything were as real as the damn knife I got in my hand, as real as this damn table I'm sitting by. The words that he said to me affected me, and I believed everything. Same with The Rock and Shawn Michaels, so that's my take on pro wrestling. I want to believe, and if you just present it to me like that, okay, I know when Leo DiCaprio goes to an action movie or Tom Cruise starts killing a bunch of guys, it's make believe. I just want to believe they can do it.
Dude, that's BS. It's over in 2 hours and 18 minutes.
But you buy in.
Yeah. But give me that wrestling. Give me a reason to watch it every week. Give me a reason to tune in every Monday night. And I don't care if it's for 3 minutes or for 3 hours, but hook me. Give me something to follow. Give me something to believe. Give me something to want to believe. I mean, in today's day and age and all of the stuff that's on TV, that's dismal at best, give me something to look forward to.
And on that point, the stuff that you said is dismal at best is the stuff that you can't believe that's on TV because it's so god-awful. Because there's some badass shit on TV that, bad in a disparaging way. There's some bad stuff on TV. So, yeah, man, just we'll move on. But Mike says one more question. On a side note, can you cut a profanity-filled promo on my 9-month-old golden retriever, Louie, for waking me up in the middle of the night, humping all the pillows on my goddamn bed? Hey, Louie, you sorry motherfucker. You ain't supposed to be humping the bed in the goddamn middle of the night. You're supposed to be laying there sleeping like a goddamn dog, sleeps at night, or barking at a stranger if it's prowling around the windows trying to break in a goddamn house. Do your job, Louie. God damn it, you a golden retriever. You could grow up one day and be a global icon and a national treasure, just like myself, Steve Austin. Come on, Louie. No, let me give it a goddamn ESPN. Come on, man. Let's move on to the next question. Teddy, you got any filler for me? You got any LSD stories? You, some LSD, a couple of hookers?
No, but I would like to make another drink.
You go for a round some ice cube. Hey, dude, would you make me one too? I'll
one?
take one, yeah. Right, I got this. I got a damn Laos Gold IPA. Hey, Steve. Hey, Teddy Fowler 361 on Twitter. My question is, the stunner is one of, if not the best finisher ever in the business. If the stunner wasn't an option, is there any finisher past or present that you think is cool shit? Swig a beer for the working man. Boy, I tell you what, when Ted Fowler makes a motherfucking Jack and Coke, I swear to God, these tumblers over here are about 3 gallons each. There's 10 pounds of ice in each drink, and there's a fifth of Jack and a sprinkle of Coke on each one of these things.
Dude, add the two of us together, we're 500 pounds.
Dude. Weighing in at a combined weight of 572 pounds.
Out of Lynchburg, Tennessee.
Out of Lynchburg, Tennessee. Steve Austin and Ted the Hammer Fowler. God damn, you talk about a tag team, dude. You should have been a pro wrestler, dude. You're a year younger than me. You got the height. You got the look. You've been hitting the weights. You got the tone physique. How's your drop kick, kid? Can you fly? I can't throw a drop kick. I'm gonna be the ground and pound. I'm gonna be kind of the brawling guy. Can you go in there, do some scientific wrestling for us?
Dude, I ain't afraid to go off the top rope. You know me.
Oh, dude, top rope. You know what? Teddy, you're 6'5", 245. I'm gonna call my good friend Rey Mysterio, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, surefire Hall of Famer. I'm going to fly him down to the Broken Skull Ranch on the WWE jet. I'm going to put a square circle over in the barn. I'm going to fly Ray in to train you how to be a pro wrestler. Can you get it done? Let me see. Ray's going to come at a pretty good price tag because Ray's got a lot of talent. Ray's in demand. I got to pay Ray. Can you learn how to wrestle in 1 week?
That's Ray if he takes American Express.
Hey, old Rey Mysterio, I can't. If he takes American Express, I'll put it on my platinum card. I'll write it up as a business expense. Fly Ray down. No, you know what? Here's the thing, because I'm worried about if you guys was training. And I was in there trying to coach y'all up a little bit, offer my 2 cents of advice here and there because, I know a thing or two about the business of pro wrestling. Shit, not too much, but a little bit. Just old bald-headed guy with a goatee and a couple of leg braces and got lucky. So anyway, what if I was to come out there with some ham and cheese sandwiches and give y'all a lunch break, and then while we turned around to grab some water out of the cooler, that if the rats would slide a tablet full of LSD on y'all sandwiches and get y'all all fucked up. And then the rats would bounce y'all's ass around the ring and beat the fuck out of you. And then I come back and say, man, what the fuck happened? And you guys wouldn't know what the fuck happened. And you'd be tied up in a corner. And fuck, Ray got a zipper going. He's bleeding like a stuck pig. You got color. They probably hard-weighed you with like a wrench or something. All kinds of shit could come out of this, Teddy, if I don't keep close out. And then what if then, like pull an insurance claim, sue me. Should I have to sell this motherfucker, get out a lawsuit. All right, Ray, if you listen to the podcast, I can't fly you down. There's too much liability out here, man. I like hunting out here and bullshit with Teddy too much. The question was, the stunner's one of the best finishers, if not ever in the history of the business. But if it wasn't an option, is there any finisher, past or present, that you think is cool shit? Man, that DDT. Jake the Snake Roberts with the DDT. And this was back before the DDT got prostituted into just a high spot or, a false finish. Guy taking the DDT would get up before the guy that gave him the DDT. So I always thought the DDT was badass. The stunner was a badass finisher, Teddy. But out of some of the best finishes you watched, what'd you like?
Choke slam.
Choke slam. Okay. Yeah. Undertaker version, Big Show version. Shit.
No, Undertaker.
Okay.
Undertaker. Yeah. No. I mean that cat was, yeah, he was spooky because I believed in it.
Right.
You know what I mean? He sold me on it. Yeah.
Here's a little FYI. When I hit you with that stunner, it is what it is. Some guys go to the knees. Some guys just stay on their feet and stretch your hamstrings out. And I always tell people when I give them a stunner, I said, I'm going to kick you in the gut. I'll grab you by the back of your neck and go down. I said, grab me by my waist, grab a base, and go with me. And then it is what it is. And I tell most people, I said, don't put your tongue between your teeth. Because I'm not shooting with it. It's a work move. Yeah. But, if you go down and you got your tongue between your teeth like Michael Jordan going for a badass basketball shot, you're probably going to bite your tongue off. So that was a secret to taking a stunner. Keep your tongue in your mouth with your mouth closed. Taker, when he give that choke slam, now he could float you down or he could send you down. It all depends on,
Yeah.
And then Taker was always cool anyway.
How much he liked you.
Yeah. But there was I'll just say this. There's an art to the way that you come down from that choke slam, whether it's Taker's or Big Show's, because Big Show, basically, that dude is so goddamn big and strong. You shook his hand the other day. Yeah. You saw him up close and personal. Big dude. Yeah. When he picks you up, and, dude, I'm bottom heavy. Like, I'm not the heaviest guy on the crew, but if you try to pick me up, I'm so bottom heavy, I feel like I'm the heaviest guy on the crew. Right. Big Show can pick your ass up, and he can put you down like a feather, and you wouldn't even know that you left the ground because that's how strong he is. But don't get me wrong. Catch him in a bad mood, you'll end up like a piece of crumpled paper over in the corner.
Oh, I don't think it would take much to, there's not a big gap between, gracefully landing and, getting really hurt. The way that those guys go about it, seeing what I saw back there and the size of those guys and, the athleticism, man, it speaks for itself. I mean, it's.
But you said, you noted the other day that at 6'5", 245, you were surprised there weren't like guys your size and bigger.
Correct.
It is a little bit smaller of a locker room.
Correct.
And it gets some badass high flyers and people with a lot more athleticism. But it's it's starting to change a little bit.
Dude, I don't think people want the sensationalism of the top rope stuff. The awe-inspiring moves, and you don't see a guy like Show. You don't see a guy like Kane. Big guys doing that stuff. They can't. And some of the stuff that I watched in your old videos. Taking those on the concrete. Going flat back. Dude, no, I'm tapping out before we even get started. Fuck that.
Hey, man, talking about the guys a little bit smaller in size, this is one of the guys that I meant to bring up during the podcast was Dolph Ziggler. Man, I really like what that guy's doing in the ring, and every now and then they want to push him, they don't. They bury him, they bring him back up a little bit. I mean, at Survivor Series, if I'm not mistaken, had a premier performance, and the action at the end of the match with him and Seth Rollins was awesome. So he was a guy that I really think that the company ought to get behind and push. I think he sells outstanding, but right now he's at a point where he's selling too much during the match. He's got to be more offense oriented. He's got to take more of the match, a la Shawn Michaels, a la Bret Hart. Totally different physique, a little bit smaller of a cat, a great athlete, but when it's all said and done, you're not buying tickets to see someone sell for 80% of that match and then eke out a win. So he's got to take more of that formula, and I think that will help him find more success because I'm a big Ziggler fan.
You know what? I like the guy, but you're absolutely right. I mean, he needs to go out on a limb. Those guys need to push the envelope. What good does it do you to be 80%. You know what I mean? To keep a job, dude, you can find a job doing anything, But I mean, if you're going to be a professional wrestler, or if you're going to be a violinist, or a car mechanic, dude, go balls out. I mean, you're doing yourself a disservice by not pushing the envelope. That's my opinion.
Well, here's an interesting question. There's a couple of them that go right along with these thoughts because, I made that challenge to the dressing room about pushing the envelope. But that being said, they are so heavily scripted right now, they're not in a great space. I mean, you can still do it. It can be. Don't get me wrong, dude, because I did it. But it was like the Wild Wild West back in my day. It can still be done, but here's a couple of questions that came into the email here at the show. Hey, Steve Austin, Vince stated that wrestlers need to grab the brass ring. It used to be you had some freedom in what you said during your promos, along with what may be nostalgia speaking, more focused creative team creating stories. How do you grab the brass ring in the current format of trading wins, heavily scripted segments, writing that changes minutes before going out, and announcers actively detracting from your performance? Thanks, and keep doing the awesome job you do. Zach, let's go to this question. During your interview with Vince, he said that if they had another Stone Cold, they would be good to go. But with all due respect, I don't believe that to be the case. In today's WWE, you wouldn't have been able to cut the same 1996 King of the Ring promo, and a lot of the other freedom that allowed you to get over isn't available to the performers of today. It's easy for Vince to blame a generation and say that the last person to grab the brass ring was John Cena, but when the company hasn't created a top star in over a decade, maybe they need to look in the mirror more closely. I don't buy for a second that out of the dozens and dozens of performers who have been in the WWE since John Cena ascended, not one of them is capable of being a star that the company builds the promotion around. Do you believe the argument that Vince put forth claiming that there hasn't been any top new stars because of the lack of ambition among this locker room's generation? I'm not saying that the company deliberately keeps people down, but they don't have a system in place any longer that lets people grab the proverbial brass ring. Eric, man, they are in a much more structured environment. They are the only game in town. You got TNA, you got Ring of Honor, you've got Japan, you've got some indies. But honestly, if you want to make some money and really make a living in the business of sports entertainment, pro wrestling, whatever the fuck you want to call it, WWE is the place to be. You, as an outsider looking in, do you think these cats have the freedom that I had back then?
Dude,
or from listening to my bullshit stories.
All right. What would you have done if Vince had fired you and Eric Bischoff wouldn't have rehired you? You lose the opportunity to be a professional wrestler. What would you have done? Would I have been, buying a newspaper from you, standing on the corner? What would you have done?
Man, I tell you what. Well, back in the day, I didn't really give a shit, because
but you got bills. You got to eat.
Well, I know, but I didn't give a shit. I wasn't thinking like that because back then, and again, this is Wild Wild West days, so to speak. You draw your pistols and go out there and start shooting. So I wasn't afraid to go climb out on a limb.
Why? Because what?
Well, man, dude, because I had to push the envelope, man. And I don't know what it was that woke me up, whether it was Paul Heyman in ECW, whether it was getting fucked over in WCW or held back. And I become complacent. A lot of that was my fault. I'd become injured, frustrated. I wasn't injury prone. Then going to, and being teamed up with Brian Pillman as the Hollywood Blondes and him going off at the mouth with the promos and riding down the road, reading vocabulary books, spurred me on. So there was a lot of things that were instilled in me. And along with my personal hunger and competition mode at anything competitive, whether it's sports or anything that's a work, the desire to get to the top was high enough that, I did go out on a limb and I did push that envelope. I believe that it can still be done. I just think you're going to be held to, more ramifications these days.
Dude, if they would have sawed your knees off or sawed your legs off and said, you know what, you ain't doing this shit no more, what would you have done?
Well, check this out. Man, I started doing what I was doing, and, I was cutting promos, and this isn't all about Steve Austin, but goddamn, we're talking about pushing the envelope creatively. I came into WWE, and there I was, ringmaster. Changed that gimmick to Stone Cold. Looked like Bray Wyatt came in as Husky Harris. Lame-ass, suck-ass gimmick, turned it into Bray Wyatt, badass. And he's a silver-tongued devil, and he can go, and he's third generation. So here's ringmaster, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I notice, when we're going live every other week, when they take the show to post, they're editing what I'm saying. So I have that come to Jesus meeting with Vince and say, hey, dude, if you're gonna censor what I say or take out what I say and not let me be me, I cannot compete because you got guys here that are much bigger here, shinier than me, better looking, but all I am is 6'2", 250, no hair, goatee, black boots, black trunks. If you don't let me have my personality, I cannot compete. So he listened to that. And then we started rolling. And then, we got a head of steam going. And then I started adding the fingers in there. Well, we'd already started that momentum in. And then I started throwing in the fingers, and that started catching on. And whether they caught flack from USA Network or whoever it was, Vince called me aside. And instead of me calling him aside and saying, what's up, he called me aside and said, hey, Steve, a lot of people are starting to use that middle finger. He goes, is there anything that you can do, like make a symbol that everybody can do? And I said, no. I said, I'm going to keep using the finger. And he said, well, okay, because I was on a hot streak.
Right.
Now, if I'd have been dead in the water, if I'd have been a boat in the water without any wind in the sail and any rudder, he could have chopped my knees off right then. But I had gathered a little bit of momentum. People were buying in. He's a promoter. He did listen to the crowd back then. He had his finger on the pulse. And he knew, and when he talked to me, and I told him, no, I can't do nothing else, I'm in it. And so that's what we did.
Dude, I think he's got his finger on the pulse, of what's going on now. I just don't, man, and don't, take this the right way. I don't think that the wrestlers go to Vince with that devil may care attitude. You know what, man? I think what you've got me doing sucks ass. This is what I want to do. Give me an opportunity. You know what I mean? Give me a couple of times to do this, and if it flops, then I'll go back to doing it your way. But God damn it, give me an opportunity, to spread my wings and be a wild child. And if not, I'm sheep, being led to slaughter.
Man, I told, I had a talk one time with Vince or with the Triple H or someone a long time ago. And I said, man, the promos are just too, heavy-handed on the pen and ink and the paper. And I said, man, pick out one or two guys that you believe in, one or two guys that you'll take a chance on, one or two guys that you'll trust, or let them take that leap of faith. And let them go out there and either fall on their face or start swimming, because you got to have a little bit of or one of each to be able to progress anyway. So there's going to be times, and it doesn't matter whether it's scripted or not, there's going to be times when it's not executed right and it's a failure. When it's executed right, and it's a win, then it always works. But to learn, to improve, to progress, to evolve, you have to have failure with the success, and ultimately you build up that batting average. If you're a true top guy or top gal, you become better based on that formula, on that experience, and living, breathing, sensing, feeling that crowd.
Dude, you feed people the same shit week after week after week without, rise or fall. It's the same outcome. You're absolutely right, man. Take a couple of guys. You ain't got to get the whole company in a push. Get a couple of guys. Let them run loose. And,
see how that energizes the rest of the locker room.
Yeah.
Because right now, and dude, I'm speaking with total positivity. Love of WWE. Bled a lot of blood, sweat, and tears with that company. I miss the spontaneity of what the Attitude Era used to be. And this ain't about me. It ain't about Stone Cold. It ain't about the Attitude Era. It's about what the WWE fans want. And even if you're playing to that bigger picture that you were speaking about earlier, me being the laser focused, I'm the horse with the blinders on. I'm thinking pro wrestling. But spontaneity is key to how that live show feels.
If I'm working in a company and you got one guy that's a maverick and he's getting all of the breaks, you know what? All that makes me want to do is follow his lead, is start bucking the system. You know what I mean? And you don't have that because everybody has the blinders on and they're being led down the same chute.
Take the blinders off. Take the bridle off, swat the summit on the ass, and say, "Hey, go get them, kid." Right. Hey, you know what? We're in this together.
You can get a job anywhere.
We're gonna take a flyer on you.
Yeah.
We've tried to do this for you, and we've got you this far. We believe you. You got the looks, you got the size, you got a lot of things, but you're just missing something. So we're just gonna let you go out, and we're gonna let you. We're just going to let you do what you feel. Put out that energy. It's like listening to a song. You can hear the words and the music, but when you feel the words and the music, it's so much more. So it's all about the talent being able to grab the audience by their ass, by their hearts, by their throats, whatever it is. But they got to go out there and resonate with that crowd.
Dude, if you're not, as a performer, as a wrestler, if you're not happy with the way the company is pushing your character, give them an option that they can't back out of. You know what I mean? Don't.
Well, I mean, like you were saying a while ago. Hey, what if they chopped your knees from under you if you did this, that, whatever? But yeah, to your point, yeah, go in there, and that's what it's always been about. All right, I'm sitting here at a dinner table with Ted Fowler 361 on Twitter, having a Jack and Coke over here at the Broken Skull Ranch. We're going to take a pause for the cause, a word from our sponsors, keep the show on the air for free. I'm coming right back. We're shooting the shit. We're talking pro wrestling, sports entertainment, Vince McMahon, WWE, answering your questions, and that's the bottom line because I said so. If you've already tried DDP Yoga, then you know this ain't your mama's yoga. This is the cardio workout that builds strength and flexibility, all while being easy on your joints. And if you haven't tried DDP Yoga, well, then you need to, because my close personal friend Diamond Dallas Page has given all you Steve Austin Show listeners a great deal on the Max Pack. And all you got to do is go to ddpyoga.com/Austin. When you order the Max Pack, you get 15 workouts. You get a nutrition guide. You get a grid chart to track your workouts. And you get a poster to help you remember the 12 core positions that make up DDP Yoga. You also get the workouts as MP3s so that you can exercise on the go wherever you are. And DDP Yoga ain't just for professional wrestlers and athletes. This is a great fitness program for people of all ages and skill levels. So, folks, join the thousands who are already experiencing the life-changing benefits of DDP Yoga and take advantage of the special deal that DDP is offering on the Max Pack. Now is the time, people. I'm talking about it. I said now is the time. Go to ddpyoga.com/Austin. Go to ddpyoga.com/Austin. You heard me. One last time. Do not wait. Do something for yourself. ddpyoga.com/Austin. So you have the money in your season-long fantasy football league. Well, you don't got to get hot about it because you can still win some instant cash this weekend playing fantasy football at DraftKings.com. In fact, if you play at DraftKings, you can become the world's next millionaire. And I'm going to make this real easy for you. I'm going to tell you how you can get a free shot at winning some instant cash this weekend. Talk about helping a brother out. Just go to DraftKings.com now. And when you get there, use my promo code Steve to play for free. Yeah, that's right. I said it. Free. Free. So go to DraftKings.com now. Use my promo code Steve and get free entry into their $10 million fantasy football World Championships. That's DraftKings.com. And use the promo code Steve. DraftKings.com. Bigger events, bigger winnings, bigger millionaires.
Steve Austin Unleashed.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Steve Austin Show. Sitting in with the Jack and Coke, and you're going to think I'd drink a goddamn gallon of Jack and Coke after I answer this question. It comes from Stephen and Vanessa over in Phoenix, Arizona, by way of Teddy Fowler, the Arizona man. Steve, I have a 1-year-old German Shepherd named Abby. My wife and I have already taken her to the Grand Canyon. Just wondering if you guys had suggestions for us as to where to take Abby next. Love the stories about Hershey, Shona, and Moolah. Swig a beer for the working man. And, of course, over here on the Ted Fowler side of the Broken Skull Ranch, we've got Cassiopeia and Tula, his chocolate lab, and German short-haired pointer. Teddy, where would you recommend that Stephen and Vanessa take Abby? He done seen the Grand Canyon. So where do you go next with this young pup?
Man, what is it, German Shepherd?
Yep.
You go down to Florence, see the prison.
Florence, where's Arizona?
Yeah, Florence, Arizona. Yeah, there's.
God damn it, Teddy! They seen the Grand Canyon. You gonna compare the goddamn prison in Florence to the Grand Canyon?
No, it's a German Shepherd. It's a bite dog. Those dogs are protection dogs.
Oh,
yeah.
You coming from a different angle.
Yeah, that's something like it's not a flower bear.
I thought you were just talking about watching a bunch of dudes locked up. Shit. Oh, you're talking about you go check out the dog's working.
Yeah, let her bite a few guys down there.
I was talking to Kristen earlier today. She got an email about it. The German Shepherd. It was like someone she follows on Twitter. If another dog sees a police dog, do they say, "Oh, there's the cops"? You know. Is that true? Okay, so Ted has suggested the Florence prison to see the dogs in action. Me, myself, man, I tell you what, where to take Abby. Man, take that motherfucker to Australia. They got some pretty water over there. Don't let it swim in the water, though, because there's too many sharks. That's my advice. Next question. God damn, Teddy.
Dude, that's a long way to fly with a dog.
You know what? Take that back. Yeah, you know what? God damn it, that's bullshit.
How the fuck did you pick that one?
Dude, you call my bluff on that one. You're right. God damn. Now hold it. Let me go right back with this, Teddy. Watch this. Watch this. Let me explain myself.
I'll be quiet.
Okay. Now, Stephen and Vanessa, here's my answer. After I've said all that, only if Vince McMahon will fly you to Australia on his private jet with some artificial turf so Abby can go to the bathroom and cater the meal forward and backwards for you, for the dog and for you, and pay for all the airfare, would I suggest you go to Australia. Because if Abby's riding downstairs underneath the plane, that's a shit-ass trip to suggest for a dog. Abby's going to be saying, what was that bald head, brace-wearing, goatee-wearing, drunk motherfucker thinking when he said to send my ass to Australia to see the blue water and the white sand? That motherfucker must be on LSD.
Obviously, he doesn't own a globe.
Yeah. Man, I tell you what, on the globe, it looked a lot closer.
That'd be a much shorter flight.
Yeah, I had a small globe. It looked like it was going to be close, Abby. Here we go. Can we see a Steve Austin hunting show in the future? Thanks, Steve from North Carolina. Man, I don't know about a Steve Austin hunting show.
Dude, I think it'd be funnier to just, film us hanging out.
Yeah, it would be more fun just to film the hanging out and the preparation, getting ready for deer season. Man, I dig hunting shows. I love hunting. But just me, I don't want to drop a bunch of deer on TV.
No,
but man, I tell you what's fun for me, because really, truly, I most enjoy my time in the stand with my camera. I got a telephoto lens. Me and Teddy basically got the same setup. We're snapping pictures. Now, ultimately, do we have to take our deer? Yeah, and I'm not saying we. We're not saying, oh, shit, I got to shoot another one. Hey, man, it's fun, but I don't want to be in a show about it. I think the show, getting ready for the hunt, the prep for the hunt, and the shenanigans that can happen in a deer stand are funny. And the time spent alone in a deer stand, man, it's all fun to me.
Dude, there's more stuff behind the scenes that's comical, and that is informative and eye-opening, that goes into this. I mean, sitting in a deer blind, a hog walks out, clunk, that's very anticlimactic. But
right.
All that goes into it, and the build-up and, all of the BS that goes on once the sun goes down.
Well, and that being said, I mean, hey, man, the backstories of shooting a hunting show are damn near like pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Not, I always say this about anything on TV. Not everything as it appears on your TV.
No.
You're watching, story based. This is based on a true story. How we get there might be changed accordingly. And there's people out there that have hunting shows and say, God damn, what the fuck? Kayfabe, motherfucker, kayfabe.
You got a guy from Kentucky going to fly to